Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. This is Back to Basics with Microsoft Flight Sim, part 36. In this video I'm going to be talking about the Course Select knob, or CRS, or Course knob, for certain aircraft that support it. Aircraft like the Cessna 182RG here that I'm flying now. The TBM 850 also has one of these knobs, and certain airliners like the PMDG 737 series of aircraft and the 146 Professional. I'm going to talk about the importance of using this for aircraft that do have it, and that you do have to set this right if you're using those aircraft and you're coming in on an ILS approach. And I'll be showing you how to set this up, of course. Well, okay, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get on with this video. Okay, so we're set up at runway 27 at Huddison International here, as you can see, in the Cessna 182RG. I know many of you have this, and this does have a Course Select knob. I believe, let me just get this out of the way, if you're flying aircraft with the glass cockpits, so the G1000, G3000, if you enter an ILS frequency, go to localizer mode, all your bearings will be done automatically for you, so you won't have to change your Course Select. It does that automatically. In aircraft like this, you have to do it manually, and I'm going to show you the importance of that. So we'll get to Navigraph charts. If you don't know what Navigraph charts is, by the way, I'm going to link a Navigraph video down below for you in the description. I've recently become an ambassador for Navigraph as well, which is fantastic, and I'm in full support of their products. It makes my life a whole lot easier, and I can show you things like this. This pink triangle here is basically where your aircraft is, which is London City Airport, as you can see. And we want to fly towards Heathrow Airport, which is this one here, Heathrow Airport. So if you click on that in Navigraph charts, if you have a Navigraph subscription and you're on PC, you can overlay, and hopefully soon on Xbox, you can overlay in the sim this chart, which is great. I can click on Heathrow. Should come up there, EGLL, which is the identifier, the ICAO code for, as you can see there, for Heathrow. And we're going to open charts, and we're going to open approach charts and scroll down to runway 27 left. There you go, 27 left, ILS. Click on that, and it will open a chart for us on the right. Couple of things that we need to pay attention to here. It's the bearing, and that's where we're going to change our course knob towards the runway. This is important, especially in the 182RG and other aircraft that support it. And the ILS frequency. If you don't lock onto the ILS frequency, the aircraft won't lock on and won't auto land you, or won't bring you down under autopilot. You do need that ILS frequency. So I'm going to do that on my radio panel, 109.50. I'll show you this in the sim in a moment, but I'm going to make it active. I'm going to keep a mental note of that 269 in my head. I can close Navigraph, that's all I need it for. I'm going to set, so there we go. I think this is GNS 530, isn't it? It's just a default GNS in the 182. You can see there the localizer identifier, ILL, that's Heathrow Airport, EGLL, ILS 27 left, 109.50. So you can see that's in. And we just need to change the CDI to VLOC or localizer mode. That's going to be important as well. And we're all set. What we're going to do, we're going to set an autopilot altitude. I'll do this with my multi-panel to 1,300 feet. And I'm going to bring my heading mode, heading bug, which is this thing here. That's your heading bug. You can see it on the compass display, let's just say, or the HSI display there. Bring it to my current heading, which is there, sync it up. Full throttle and release the parking brake, and we'll get up in the air with no trouble. Then I'll show you the importance of that Course Select. If you don't do that, yeah, well, I'll show you the importance one way up. It's not picked up on the ILS frequency, because you'll see a course deviation line. You'll see broken lines basically here, and this will change. We're too far away from the ILS. Let's just get some clouds in there, shall we? We've taken off, but I can sort that out in a moment. A few clouds. There we go. I'm going to raise our gear, raise our flaps, and I'll just trim down slightly just so we're not heading skywards. So our gear raised, it has, flaps raised, and there we go. We can select autopilot and heading mode. And we're going to follow our heading bug and climb to 1,300 feet. Let me just stop that flashing down there. That's a transponder. Okay, let's talk, and I'll just bring my throttle back. I don't need to zoom ahead on this flight, so I'm just bringing my throttle back by 50%, although I am climbing. That will do. It's not going to go all under 110, is it? Course select. Well, we've got to wait for the symbology. We've got to wait for those broken lines. So essentially, we're just waiting to pick up on ILS 27 left. It's not yet, because you'll see this change. But it will do in a minute. We're climbing higher. And there you go, the symbology is changing. Now, the course select. Remember that 269 before? Let's mouse up on this, mouse down, to change that course select to match what we were given before, which is 269, the bearing. Now, the importance... there you go, 269. The importance of this is the course deviation line. Best way I can explain this, from the nose of your aircraft, in fact, I'll get back in the aircraft, from the nose of your aircraft here, the runway threshold, it's telling us it's over here. By this course deviation line being to the left, it's saying the runway's over here. You need to turn to the left. If I didn't set up that course select, say I set it up as 350, looks like we're heading towards that course deviation line, doesn't it? We're not, because I've got the wrong course set up. I've got the wrong bearing set up towards the runway. So that's the importance. So if I left that alone, I think it's 360 by default. So put it back to 000 or 360. There we go. We're not going to be... that course deviation line's not going to come in. We're not flying towards it. You do need that correct bearing set up, so it gives you the correct heading towards the runway in effect, or where the runway is in relation to your aircraft. So 269. And it's telling me I need to bank to the left. So I can use my heading knob here. I'm going to move my heading knob to the mouse down to move it to the left, because I want that course deviation line to come in. That's where the runway is. It's yonder, down here, it's telling me. Once that line starts to move in, we can simply select our approach. Which one is it? Approach mode, and it will lock on and even bring us down under ILS. Isn't that beautiful? So if you're struggling with this in the Cessna 182, this could be the missing piece of the jigsaw. Find the bearing, which is here, 269, towards your runway. When you put that bearing in, see where the course deviation line is. If it's left or right, it means your runway is in that direction. You need to get towards that direction to line up with the runway. If you have the wrong course in, you're not getting a clear indication where your runway is, and yeah, it could just be a messy landing for you. So what I'll do, I'll just bring you back when that course deviation line starts to move in. Okay, as you can see, course deviation line moving. Once you see it moving in, press your approach mode button. So I've just pressed it. The autopilot's taking over. It's now going to center these lines. It might come to the right a bit, but the autopilot will correct for that and line us up. We've basically hit the threshold, or we're in line of the runway now. So as you can see, it's just yonder Heathrow Airport. And the autopilot will correct left or right just to line these lines up. And all you need to do now is just slow yourself down so you get towards flap speed. So there's Heathrow Airport. There's the runway just ahead of us, in fact. In the 182, these are your glide slope indicators. When these yellow arrows here come down to center, it will lock on and actually bring us down under glide slope as well. So forget the bearing now. We've pressed approach mode. We're all lined up. The course deviation line is conjoined. We're just waiting for those the glide slope lines, or little markers here, to move down to center. And speed's okay. We can soon go to flap speed and gear down, in fact. That's fine for gear down. Wonderful retractable gear on the 182, isn't it? And there you go, we're getting towards our flaps. We can go to flaps at any point. Once I start to see these glide slope indicator lines, dots move down, I'll probably go to flaps just so we're well prepared. And that's it basically. So if you're having trouble in the 182 lining up for an ILS, get your course select. You can either Google it or Navigraph is a great way. Go and look at my Navigraph video. It's a great way to actually find out the bearing towards your ILS or runway. Set it up, you can see where the course deviation line is, left or right. Basically the threshold of the runway, head towards it, and then approach mode, and the aircraft will take over. We're nice and slow there, aren't we? So what will happen now, I'll just show you this part. The aircraft will lock on, because we're in approach mode. Once the glide slope indicators start to come down, it will lock on and glide us down to the runway. Might as well keep it there, might as well speed up a wee bit there. There's no points in prolonging this. How's the scenery? It's not too bad. I do have Accu Season, it's the latest Accu Season update. Apparently less trees in cities. Yeah, I've noticed that there are less trees, but you know, London's quite green, and the surrounding parts of London are very green indeed, especially towards Heathrow Airport. So it's a good approach to try this on ILS 27 left at Heathrow Airport, so you can follow my example and then try it on different airports. Or try it at different airports rather. So we're just waiting for these course deviation markers to come down to centre. Sorry, not course deviation. That's your glide slope markers. And you can see they're moving down to centre now. I'm going to go to flaps 1 now, just so we're all prepared. Or stage 1 flaps. As you can see there. Going to lock on, and it's just like my previous ILS tutorial videos. It will lock on and just bring us down. There we go, wait for that to happen. Now you can see the aircraft descending now, just following that glide slope. Isn't that brilliant? Okay, so that's I won't put you through the anguish of watching me land under autopilot. What I'll show you now is a similar process in the TBM 850. So here we go again, runway 2700 Huddison International, this time in the TBM 850. And now, because I've got the GTN XI installed in this, I'm going to link both of these videos down below, the GTN XI video and the TBM 850, wonderful aircraft. And I must do a video soon of the way these two combine when you have them both, so the TBM 850 and the GTN XI. It's like a match made in heaven. Do have a default view set up there. With this GTN XI, I can just zoom out so I get to, so I can see EGLL, click on that, and I click on there, and I can actually go frequencies, ILS, so touchscreen, no. How do I move? Oh, that's it. Okay. Couldn't move them up or down for a second. So ILS, it will show, if I scroll down, it will show ILS 27 left somewhere. 27 left. Just click on that and it will enter. Activate. It'll actually put it as my active frequency, which is quite handy, isn't it? Gotta love that. Go ahead, get that message off screen. And there we go. Go back. And that's where we are at the moment. Okay. So, let me just get back to my normal screen. So, with the TBM 850, now to get to your localizer frequency, you have to press this nav source button. It will go to RNAV first, then MLS, then ADF, and then VOR1 or localizer 1. They're pretty much one and the same. So get it on VOR1 or localizer 1. It will say VOR1 first until it locks onto that localizer. It's a wee bit slow there, wasn't it? A wee bit jerky. Oh, you know what? We're going to keep it in clear skies. It doesn't really matter. We'll just get off in the air and then just show you a similar thing with the TBM. And you can, you know, like I said, any aircraft that has a course knob, this is your course knob down here. You can set them up or do the same thing that I'm showing you here, so even airliners as well, it's the same kind of principle. So gear up. I do believe I've got a stage of flaps. You know, I didn't set an autopilot altitude or... Oops. Let's not crash into the bridge at London City Airport. No, what am I doing? Autopilot altitude. And I'll bring my heading bug round. And just trim down a bit. I'm going skywards, aren't I? So there we go. Autopilot heading selected. Just did that with my multi-panel. It will climb up. Same difference. We're just going to wait till it picks up on that localizer now. On our ILS. So it's in VOR mode down here at the moment. Get another message there. Yeah, airspace alert. Does all that nice fancy stuff. The GTNXI. We'll just keep climbing up. We're climbing up to our 1300 feet. This will change to localizer, as you'll see in a moment. There you go, localizer 1. So it's the same thing, the course knob. We're going to change that to 269, remember from the previous part, to line up and to show us roughly where the threshold of the runway is. So 269. There we go. And it's saying we need to turn to the bank to our left, which I'll put my heading knob to the left. And in the TBM here, doing over 200 knots, you should see this course deviation line moving. And I'll just press the approach mode on my multi-panel in this case. That's going to take no time at all, is it? Or isn't it? Wonderful aircraft, the TBM. Really enjoy flying it. Pretty much my go-to aircraft nowadays for a lot of activities. Unless I want to go very slow over somewhere, I'll go back to the Cessna 152 or 172. But for anything else, I'm flying this an awful lot. Oh, that scenery is not looking good. Okay, so we're just waiting for the course deviation line to come in. We'll press the approach mode button. You can do it on your autopilot. But I'll do it with my multi-panel. Just to show you this, it does the same thing. And again, if I didn't select that course of 269, it won't show us effectively which side the runway is on, which side, left or right, you need to bank. There you go, it's coming in. Press the approach mode button. And yeah, you can end up in all kinds of trouble. So this is how you would do it in the TBM 850. Just bring back my throttle there because I'm zooming along, so I'm about 30% throttle now just to get myself slow down. And you can see now the line's gone to the right. Let's just show you this. We're in approach mode. What are those messages flashing for? There. See, the trouble with this, you do get warned a lot of these messages. You can turn those messages off in the GTNXI, just haven't bothered at the moment. And Heathrow Airport's just yonder. What speed are we? Bring my throttle back to 25% just to get somewhere towards flaps. Gear down can happen anytime soon. We're not in danger of snapping off the gear at that velocity. There we go. Wonderful aircraft, isn't it? And you'll see this line slowly come back, that course deviation line slowly come back to centre as it lines us up with runway 27 left. Which is all set up here. You can see the identifier there. In fact, if I do that, ILL, that's the identifier for Heathrow Airport. And we've got the right frequency dialed in. The course deviation line's coming back to centre, and indeed the runway is just ahead of us there. So when, and in this case, you do have a glide slope indicator, traditional one. When that comes down to centre, it will lock on and bring us down under autopilot. We're nice and slow now. I can just bring my throttle up a little bit. So there you go, chaps. That's how you would do it. That's the importance and significance of using the Course Select for aircraft that support it. Go and give this a try yourself. Do let me know how you get on. Let us all know how you get on. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and I'll be seeing you very soon.